morning, everyone. Thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name is Edie Ann. I'm an independent superstar director with Scentsy. Been with Scentsy for about 13 years, and we are on our way to Scentsy Family Reunion. I am so excited. I've needed this, and I'm going to tell you why it's important to go to Scentsy Family Reunion as a consultant. When I first joined Scentsy, the first year that I was with Scentsy, which would have been the end of 2010 into 2011, they were already planning for the 2011 Scentsy Family Reunion. I believe it was in Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas. It was in Texas. I don't know exactly where in Texas, but it was in Texas. And I had come from, listen, I worked the majority of my life, I worked in corporate America. I was a teacher, software teacher for companies that I would go into their company, I would learn their software, and then I would teach it to their employees. I sold computers. I was pretty much in the computer industry, software industry for 20 some odd years. And in that, we had many conventions. Microsoft would put them on. Toshiba would put them on. I'd been to one in Atlanta, Georgia. I'd gone to Anaheim, California. There were many conventions that I went to that I would have categorized as these rah-rah events, right? Okay. Not that I didn't enjoy them, because I did. You always got free stuff. It was just, you know, lots of energy. You drank the Kool-Aid kind of a thing. And so when I came to Scentsy, I had this albeit mentality that I didn't need to go to those things because I knew what they were like. I knew what they were going to ingest in me, which was a lot of positive stuff. Never was it a negative experience. I just feel like I felt like I didn't need it because I knew what I was going to gain from it, and I could provide that for myself. Shit, you know, that's how I felt. And so in 2011, I opted to do, at the time they had provided a $10 option to do virtual reunion. And basically all it was a camera set up in the back of the room, and you could kind of watch what was going on. It was hard to see. It was very low-end techy, I would say. And I'm going to tell you, they got better over the years. But I invited a few people over that I had already on my team, and we kind of did it together. It was a good experience. I'm not going to say that it wasn't a good experience. I'm going to say that it was a less than there was no interaction. It was what it was. Listen, you pay $10, you get what you get, right? Sorry. And so I went with that, and I had the mentality that I didn't need it. I didn't need to attend the live one. I felt like I could provide any motivation that I needed. I was doing well already in Scentsy, and I just assumed that I could do what I needed to do to be successful in Scentsy, and that I didn't need to go to convention because it was just going to be all this rah-rah stuff that I didn't need. So then the next year, in 2012, our reunion was in Vegas. Well, they announced the location in our 2010, the live stream that I watched. They announced that they were going to Vegas. And at that point I was like, I've never been to Vegas. I really would like to go to Vegas. Maybe I should make plans to go to Reunion. Kind of got that gist of it might be a different experience than I've ever had to go to a Scentsy convention. It used to be called convention. Because it was a little bit more intimate than I'd ever been. The conventions that I'd been to for all of those other companies were, you were just kind of there and you were gathering information. right? You were absorbing all of the information that they were providing, getting all of the free stuff, and then off you went. The sense that I got from the live streaming, you could see the crowd and you were like, huh, there's a little bit of a different feel to this than I had ever felt. So anyway, long story short, I made plans to go to Vegas. So in July of 2012, I made the preparations. I went to Vegas and was blown away. Literally blown away. Completely different experience than I had ever been through. The sense of camaraderie, the sense of togetherness, the sense of we're all in this together, wasn't just about rubbing elbows and shaking hands. It was about giving hugs and creating relationships. So that to me was the biggest difference, because you know, you go to these big corporation conventions and it was about rubbing elbows and shaking hands and not necessarily exchanging information or creating relationships. It was more about just gathering information. It was just weird. Anyway, hence the reason they have changed the name of Scentsy Convention to Scentsy Family Reunion, because that's what it feels like. Like you're going home to a family reunion where you've made some amazing friends, you've created some connections, you've done this networking thing, and now you have something in common with all of these people. Sorry, super bright. And you get to hang out with them for the week. It's not even a whole week, but for like 3-4 days. Totally different. Totally different. And you cannot take my word for it, because if you're like me, you're sitting at home saying, I don't need to go. I don't need to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm here to tell you I experienced it, know the difference, felt the difference, saw the difference. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. And here's some, if you've made it this far in the video, I'm going to share some pretty raw feelings with me right now. I have been going through this little bit of a dip. I know that as a whole, our society is feeling some sort of way. Some companies are having a dip, some companies are not. Some people are excelling, some people are not. That's a normal, right? That's normal. But I want to say that emotionally, I have felt drained at how hard I feel like I'm having to try to be successful in my business. Now, I want to caveat that. A lot of that comes from me. It's not necessarily the industry, although there has been some slowness, right? And this is another thing. I guess I just want to be careful not to deter you from this business. And here's why. Every business goes through dips and accelerations, right? Every company has ebbs and flows in their business. We are not excluded from that. The difference is you as an individual, if you can make it through it and find a way to stay motivated during the dips so that you can be part of the acceleration, be part of the flow. And what happens a lot of times is we get to that ebb, we get to that dip, and we're like, oh, I can't do this. I'm having to work too hard. It's a lot. It feels different. I don't want to have to be so in people's faces. I don't want to have to do the extra work that it's going to take right now. I don't like working and not getting results. I don't like seeing people try so hard and not have the reward that they normally get, whether it's through sales or recruiting or whatever. If you can't, and this is where I struggle now, I guess, I need to see results from the work that I put in. That's just part of who I am. And when I don't, I feel like I'm doing it for nothing. But in the big scheme of things, all that's doing is ramping up, right? When you're watching the tide roll in, right? It ebbs, it comes in, it's pulling back, it's pulling back, it's pulling back, and then all of a sudden you get this push of energy, and the water rolls in on the beach like it's got superpower behind it, because it does, right? And we forget, I forget about that ebbing and the power that's building and the momentum that's growing, so that when it flows, it's easier. You're seeing results. You're gaining that momentum that you've been working so hard for, right? You're building and building and building and building. It's like the bamboo tree. A bamboo tree grows and grows and grows and grows under the ground for 5 years. And then all of a sudden, you'll see the sprout, and within months, it's 5 feet tall. Because it has its own ebbing and flowing happening underneath the ground that you cannot see. Most ebbing you cannot see. So when that happens, I look for things to help motivate me. I look for people, places, and things that will help create that momentum for me that I can latch on to. I know that sounds horrible, but it's the truth, right? That's how we work. And so Scentsy Family Reunion is that for me. And I am banking on it this time because I need it. And it's probably the time when you feel like, oh, I just don't want to go. I don't want to experience this whole drink the Kool-Aid thing, right? You don't want to feel that because you're not feeling it internally in your own business. And so to feel like you're having to create that when you're not there, it seems daunting, right? But what happens is you get there and the energy around you is contagious. It just is. It's like a yawn or a smile. They're contagious. And so when you expose yourself to that type of energy, you're going to find that shifts begin to happen in your own energy, in your own mindset, in your own thought process. And so that is what I'm hoping for this year, because right now I feel like I'm ebbing and it seems impossible to get to the flow. So, on my way, super excited. My sister's actually coming with me. This is the first time that my sister and I have ever traveled like this alone. We did a lot of traveling as kids, but never as adults, and never just the two of us. So I'm excited about that. So be watching, because I'm going to be sharing some stuff, whether it's live or in videos, as to what I experienced, what I saw. I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'm very excited to do so. I cannot wait. I need a little bit of a boost, and I know that this is going to do it for me. So if you have been considering going to Scentsy Family Reunion and you choose not to, make the investment for yourself. Make the investment. Save your pennies. Create a plan right now so that you can go to next year's and experience that for yourself, because just me telling you, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's an experience you have to have. And if you're feeling like you're in a funk, then it definitely is something that you want to put on your schedule, because it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a huge difference. All right. I cannot wait to share some videos with you. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.